Hey, Aubrey Bailey, here to give you an update. Maybe you have a listing on the beach, or maybe you're helping some buyers or looking at buying homes on those barrier islands on the beach, really what got hit pretty hard this time last year. And I want to take a moment to dig into the data that's very specific just to that area. Unfortunately, a lot of the tools we have access to and Stellar and everything else don't give us exactly this kind of data, so we can talk really knowledgeably about how those areas have been affected. So here's what I want to show you. I'm gonna do a screen share real quick, and we're gonna do this. All right, you should be able to see my screen right now. So we're mainly talking about this area right here along these barrier islands that are right here along the water. Okay, once you come over the causeways, that area, that's what we're talking about. So what's actually happened there? Well, you need to grab your Chart Masters reports. Remember, this is exclusive to us just at KW, so it'll help you have these conversations with your clients. So go to Chart Masters, click into Market Reports. This is under the U Baldini Group content. Then you're going to go down to September, because right now it's in October now, so we're looking at September data. And you're going to go click on detached. We're also going to look at attached as well, but we're going to start with detached. So what's happened in the beach properties? Look at the other video for the overall area. This is just beach area. So what's happened? Remember, we're talking about single family detached residences, and we're actually specifically looking at just the Gulf beaches. You can see that's been selected in this drop down. So this is a very different market than what we're seeing elsewhere in the areas that we're working. So take a look at this. Last month, in the month of September, 48.5% of the homes did not sell at all. So agents took these listings, sellers put their homes up on the market, and half of them are not selling, right? So if you get the price right, what happens? You'll know, not this, what this says right here is not price reduced days on market, meaning they didn't have to reduce the price. They went under contract in 15 days and they sold for 94.7% of list price. So if you get the price right, you will know within 15 days, and they will sell for roughly last month 94.7% of list price. However, if you did not get the price right, it will take 177 days. That is half a year, guys. And it will ultimately sell for 76.2%. 76. If you have a $400,000 property, that means it's off by $100,000. And actually, you can get more specific here. If you have a $400,000 property, price has to be reduced. Price reduced 70.9%. It was off by 30%, actually 29.1%. So we're looking at the medians down here, the averages down here. So what does that mean? It means if you don't get it priced right, you'll know within 15 days, it's ultimately going to take almost half a year, and it will sell for roughly 76.2% of the list price. Now, are homes still selling above list price on these beach properties? Yes, they are, but not very many. 5.9% are going above list price. Where if you remember in the other charts we looked at, it's like 20% are still going above list price. So very few are selling above list price. Here's something else to look at. Months of inventory. Guys, what is a balanced market? Do you remember how many months? Not a buyer's, not a seller's market. What is it? Between 5 to 6. Okay. Right now, we are definitely in a buyer's market in a lot of these price ranges. Look at this. 38 months of inventory above $1 million. If not another home went up for sale, it, it would take over 3 years to absorb the inventory. We have a ton of detached homes in that million to 1.25 range, a lot of them, and they're just not selling, right? They're having a lot of trouble selling. Look at the stats on those. 227 days on market if they have to reduce. I mean, these numbers are something you need to pay attention to. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. Let's look at putting it all together. This is called the game board. This is a very easy way to look at and explain the numbers if you're talking with a client. So out of 100 finalized listings, so 100 homes go up for sale. What happens to those 100 homes? Okay, well, 51 of them will sell. So out of 100, 51 of them will sell. 18 of them will be priced correctly. They won't have to reduce the price. They're going to sell in 15 days and bring 94% of list price. However, out of those 100 homes that go up for sale, 49 won't sell at all. They're just going to expire. Half of them, it was like 48.7% or whatever, half of them aren't going to sell. 33 are going to have to reduce the price to sell. So again, out of 100, 33 are having to reduce it. So you've got the 49 that didn't sell at all, plus the 33 that had to reduce to sell, that means you've got 82 out of every 100 listings on the Gulf, the beach properties, are not priced correctly. And if it's not priced correctly, if you do reduce the price, it will still take roughly 177 days, and you're going to get 76.2% of list price. Now, you always want to go back to this chart, look at your price range, and see where you'd be. But this is called the game board. You want to win the game. You want to land on the green, right? You want to be on that right side. Otherwise, you can get the home under contract and sold within 2 weeks, or you can sit on the market for 6 months. That's 5.5 months extra of making the bed, doing the dishes, leaving for dinners, out of not pricing it right. And again, you can't underprice the home. There still are bidding wars that's still happening in those properties. So that's detached, guys. Detached. What about attached homes, condos, townhouses, villas? What does that look like? Well, let's take a look. Go back here, click on townhouse, villas, and condos, and it'll bring up the Chartmaster slides. I pulled out the ones we're going to use in this particular video. Different story there. Well over half are not selling. 57.7% are not selling of the beach properties. If you get it right, they still sell pretty quick. You get the price right, 14 days, it'll bring 93.1% of list price. However, if you get it wrong, 151 days in the market, it'll sell for 82.3% of list price. And you can see it really depends on what price range you're in, and these start to vary in range accordingly. So take a look at that. However, look at this right here. The median days on market for condos, townhouses, and villas is 103 days. Guys, that's almost 4 months. You need to be taking listing agreements for, if you have a condo, townhouse, or villa, it needs to be at least a 6-month agreement. That's what it needs to be, is a 6-month agreement. And what can they expect to happen? Well, the median is 103 days, so almost 4 months on the market. They're going to get on median 86.7% of list price. And yeah, has all the other stats in there, so you can look at those. All right, scrolling down just a little bit more. Here's that game board, but for condos, townhouses, and villas, specifically in the Gulf Beaches properties. Out of 100 listings that are finalized, meaning they either sold or expired, 42 out of 100 will sell. 15 will be priced right. They'll go under contract in 14 days and bring about 93% of list price. However, 27 out of that 100 have to reduce the price before selling. It's going to take them 151 days. It's going to bring 82.3% of list price. And 58 of them aren't going to sell at all. Out of 100, 58 are not going to sell at all. So look at this one, as opposed to the detached. Now we're looking at attached housing. 58 that don't sell at all, plus 27 that had to reduce the price to sell, means 85 out of every 100 listings are not priced right. You have an 85% chance of pricing your listing wrong right now if you're selling a Gulf property. So how would you know what the right price is? It's a skill set. And if you're not sure how to do it, come talk to me. I'll get you connected with somebody. I'll give you some advice. You need to be attending classes. Go to workshops on appraisal so you understand how they appraise properties. But remember, it's not the buyer. It's not the seller. It's not even the appraiser that determines the price of a property. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. It's not the agent. It's not the seller who determines the price of the property. It's the buyer. So what are the buyers telling us? These are the numbers. This is what the numbers are telling us. So last one I'll show you on condos, townhouses, and villas in Gulf Beaches. We're going to compare this maybe to other areas around town, Northwest Tampa or the Clearwater area, not the beaches properties, just overall Clearwater, Northwest Tampa. Look at this. I want to show you median sales price. Look at this one. The beach properties are down 24% this year versus last year. Why? Why would they be down 24% this year versus last year? What happened last year? 100-year floods. People are nervous to buy on the beach right now. And the ones that don't have to sell, honestly, are not selling right now. So the prices are down right now 24%. Where if you look at the general Clearwater area, yeah, they're down 7%. But look at Northwest Tampa. They're up 30 this September versus last September. Like, September 2024 versus September 2025, they're up a good bit. That's not a number that's going to continue. It just means what sold this September was higher. Here's the point I'm making. Yes, prices are down. Do you know what I see in this? I see a phenomenal opportunity for some buyers to get a great deal on some properties. Why? Here's why. The properties that are being repaired are being brought up to some beautiful standards. They've been there for decades in a lot of cases, not getting any upgrades, being very outdated. And now all these homes are going to be absolutely gorgeous, the ones that got damaged and get remodeled. So fast forward a few years, right? What should that do? We can't make promises on pricing, but this is just economics. If we now have a bunch of homes that are nicer and remodeled, it should raise the prices. So if I'm looking, this is me talking internally, this is a great time to buy a property and take advantage of this. Because guys, what happens when the rates go down? What happens to demand? Did you know that if you look at Housing Wire, they had some stats, it's something like over 60 or 70% of the mortgages out there now no longer have 3% mortgages. Over 60% of them have above a 6% mortgage. So what happens if rates get down to demand? Well, if rates get into the fives, who knows what's going to happen? But what happens if rates get into the fives? Which way does demand go? Up. If demand goes up, what happens to prices? So don't have our crystal ball. We'll see what happens, but I see a big opportunity in these beach properties right now. Hopefully that helps you. If you have any questions, let me know. Make it a great day. See ya.